Good morning. I'm doing another video today for a customer who couldn't make it in person to get their walkthrough. So this is the 2019 273 MK. It is a used unit, so it's not going to look brand new, but it does seem to be in pretty good shape. So up here, we're just going to start here. Right here, you have a way to put solar on the outside if you'd like, a portable solar panel. That's what this would be for, as long as it fits that fitting there. All right, and then you have a battery in here. This is something, here we go. We put a new battery on this. The battery that was on here wouldn't hold a charge, so we put a new one on. This is an interstate battery. You're going to pop the caps on the top of the battery every now and again and check your water level. If you don't see water, then distilled is what you're putting in there. You have a light there. It's on a motion detect. So whenever you walk past or open the door, it's going to come on. And really in here, that's about it. Around the side here, we have your propane. There's one on this side and one on the other side. Looks like this one's still good to go. You're good for another 3 years on these bottles before they expire. Up here is how you're going to go from this bottle to the one on the other side. Up here on the top, this moves. Right now, this is green. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but it's green right now, letting you know that there is propane in the bottle. When it runs out, it's going to turn red. It will also turn red when the propane's off for a little while. So when you turn it back on, it'll flip to green as long as you have propane in there. Over here is your pass-through. There's not a whole lot right in this area, but right here is all the stuff that you really need to camp. So it's about all your water stuff. So this would be for a quick connect water hose, hot and cold running water. You have satellite and cable and auxiliary here. This, all that, you're going to tell your camper how you're going to camp. If you're going to dry camp, where you have to work off of your fresh water tank with no water hookup, you're going to power fill your tank here, and that's the position these all need to be in. And then you're going to use it. So this is going to be the position those go in for the water pump to pump water from the fresh tank to whatever faucet you've turned on. This here is your city water. That's what most people are going to be on. When you have water on site, put these valves in that position and you'll already have pressurized water from your city water fill. Everything's happening through here. So the power fill for the fresh tank, the city water connection, all of it. Even when you winterize, you're going to do it through here. So when this comes off, you're going to screw this on to the end of your drinking water hose. Please remember to use a water regulator. Sometimes these campgrounds have really high water pressure, and you want to make sure that it doesn't blow your lines apart, because it could absolutely happen. In most campgrounds, if your neighbors aren't using their water pressure is coming to you. So keep that in mind. That's why we always tell you to use a water regulator. And this here is a black tank flush. So your black tank is your toilet. Whenever you're done dumping your black tank, you can come here, put your hose to that, screw it onto the end of your hose just like you did for the city water. Again, I'm going to tell you to use a water regulator, and it will spray out your black tank to clean it. Whenever you do that, this is the pull for the valve for your black tank. Whenever you use this, make sure this valve is open, mainly because it builds a lot of pressure up in that black tank when it's being sprayed out. And the black tank is, obviously it's your dirtiest tank, so it sprays it out, but when you leave the valve open, you'll be able to see through your sewer hose there, the connection. Hopefully it's clear, so you can see when the water runs clear, you know that your tank is clean. But run it for, 2 or 3 minutes and you should be good to go, and then shut the valve when you're done. All right, so want to see. Okay. The gray tank is here. Black tank is there. So this is going to be your sink and shower. And then that's, of course, the toilet. You have a little plug-in over here. And, oh, this is if you want to hook cable up through the pass-through. If you want to bring a TV outside, I guess. These tools are used for different things. This one's going to be for the 2 stabilizers in the back. And this is going to be, I believe this is for your spare tire. We'll double check on that just to be sure that's what it is. Right here, you have your water heater. So, undo that, and there it is. So, there's really not a whole lot for you to do out here. Right here is the relief valve. So before you turn this on, you do it from inside. Before you turn it on, make sure you've got water in there. You don't want this thing firing up with no water in it. This is the plug for it, and it goes right in there. All right, so we've got this winterized right now. So we're not going to have water in it because there's antifreeze throughout the system. We bypass the water heater so that we don't dump a bunch of antifreeze into your water heater. So it does need to be unbypassed before you ever use it, because water won't come in or go out of it as it sits right now. We'll go ahead and unbypass the water heater. That way when you get it, you won't have to worry about it. Okay, so I'll remember to do that. This here is the furnace, and it's on right now. I was making sure that your heat works, and I'm going to check to be sure that your AC is also working. But right now, it's very hot air coming out of here. So make sure you don't put anything here that would block that or that could potentially melt, because it is that hot. I'm standing a ways away from it, and I can really still feel the heat coming off of it. I do recommend a bug screen right here. It just hooks right on the outside and it stays on. Even if you traveled, you wouldn't have to take it on and off. It stays on there. The mud daubers, the wasps, things like that, they love to go in places like this and build a nest. And they won't build their nest right here. They'll go all the way into the ductwork to do it. And it's a big mess if they end up doing that. All right, so just get an insect screen. You have a Suburban, it says it on here, Suburban furnace. So you'll be looking for an insect screen for a Suburban furnace, all right? Down here is where you're gonna hook up to your sewer. So up there where the water area is, those are the pulls for this sewer. So you're gonna hook your sewer hose up to that, put the other end into the ground, pull the black tank first, rinse the sewer hose out with the gray. Please make sure not to hook your sewer hose up to this and put the other end to the ground and then open the valves. A couple of things happen if you just leave those open all the time. People will do it thinking that they don't have to worry about dumping their tanks because it's just going to go straight down into the sewer. One of the things that happens when you do that is only liquid is going through that sewer hose. So everything solid is staying behind and drying to the bottom of your tank. The next thing that happens is now the valves are open, now the sewer gases have a way in, and your camper will end up smelling like a porta potty. You can hook your sewer hose up, just leave the valve shut until it's time to dump. I'm always going to tell people 2/3 or more before you dump it, because they are gravity-fed tanks. They need that push of liquid to empty itself. So that's another reason to keep the valve shut. It does need that pressure. And just beside that are your 2 low point drains. Those are for when you winterize. You want to drain all the water out of all your lines. So that's the lowest point of all of your drains for inside. Okay. Your slide out here. Let's see if I can get a better view of that for you. Okay. So the rubber going around the slide out needs to stay soft. So this rubber here going all the way around. So there's a rubber conditioner that you're going to put on that as part of your maintenance. It just needs to stay soft. If it starts to get hard, it's going to crack and break, and then the weather out here is going to come inside. So that's an important thing to do. Twice a year is when most people do it. I've heard a lot of people say that they do it on a holiday schedule, so they'll do it on Memorial Day and then again on Labor Day. So I don't know, I think that's kind of a good schedule to keep. The slide out system that you have is called a Schwintek, and that's what these are. So you have 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. The whole slide room is going to come in together. There's no greasing these up. The Schwintek slides you just need to keep those clean, soap and water. That's all you need to do. If you start spraying stuff on there, it could actually do more harm than good. So, I mean, if it has a annoying squeak or something to that effect, maybe squirt a little something on there. But really, they're telling us not to put anything on them, really. One thing I want you to pay attention to is every once in a while, check where the slide out's coming in and out of. So right here is where it's coming in and out of here, and then on the top the same way. If this rubber beside it looks like it's getting chewed up by the slide out here, that means this is probably out of alignment and need to get it adjusted. It should not be chewing up this tube seal right here, okay? Make sure before you pull the slide in that there's no debris on top. Down here, it could look like everything's sealed up good when the slide comes in, but you know, a walnut on top of there could leave an opening that you don't even know is there. And then when it rains, you now have a leak around your slide out. That's the most common kind of leak there is around the slide out. That and the roof, which we're going to talk about. Down here, you have a vent on top and on bottom for your refrigerator. You have a gas electric refrigerator. Right now it's on electric because we're plugged in. Whenever you unplug, it'll revert over to gas. Just please remember, you are not supposed to drive with your propane on. So if you go on a trip, you're going to have to turn that propane off. I know a lot of people travel with the propane on. You're not supposed to do that. I've been told by several officers that most states do not allow you to have your propane on when you travel. It's a great big fine, and they could take your propane from you. And it makes a lot of sense. If you were to get into an accident, you would, it could potentially explode if the propane's left on. I know that's dramatic, but it could happen. That's why there's all these signs on the side of the road when you go into a tunnel telling you to make sure your propane is off. So back here you have your second gray tank, and this is for your kitchen, and the pull for it is right there, the gray valve right there. And this is just for your kitchen because your kitchen is back here. So you can move your sewer hose from up front to back here if you'd like, or you can get a separate sewer hose for this, which is what I would do. And then get a Y connector to connect the two for the sewer. All right, moving on. Back here, you've got a ladder, which is awesome because they do want you up on that roof, and I'm going to talk about that here in a second. Here, you are prepped for a backup camera. You're prepped for a Furrion backup camera. If you choose to get that, you can get a backup camera or observation for if you're traveling, but I think yours is going on a permanent site if I'm not mistaken, so you don't really need that unless you just want it for security purposes. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know and I'll tell you more about it if that's what you want to do. The ladder, most of the ladders have a weight limit of 250, so 250 pounds. So they want you on that roof. It's a full walk-on roof. The reason they want you up there is because there's some maintenance that needs to be done. One of the big things is every hole they've cut up there, they have self-leveling sealant around everything. It doesn't look pretty. It goes on nice and smooth like caulking does, but you come back an hour later, it looks like a 3-year-old was up there with it because it spreads out and it's, doesn't look pretty anymore. But it's self-leveling, so that's why it looks like that, and it needs to stay soft. So if you get up there and feel around, you want to make sure that sealant is not hardened up, there's no cracks in it, or any bubbles that popped, anything like that. Again, just like with the slide out, if that stuff cracks and breaks, when it rains, it's coming in through the ceiling at this point. So it sounds like a lot of maintenance, but it's really not. I mean, you could do this stuff in an afternoon, you know, twice a year. So when you do the sealant, please remember the self-leveling sealant, it chemically binds to the membrane of the roof. So when you peel it off, it's not going to peel off easy like sealant or like caulking would. I guess you can start caulk and then pull it off. With this, you're not going to be able to do that. So use a plastic scraper to get it off and have some patience. You're not going to be able to just peel it right off. I know I keep saying that. Just make sure it's staying soft and not hardening up. That's the main thing. The other thing that you could do here is keep the roof clean, a soft bristle brush and a hose, and they do have cleaner for roofs. So you can get some of that cleaner and just scrub it down and rinse it, and that'll really help with the black streaks coming down the side of your camper. All right. Around here is your outside kitchen. You have 2 burners here. You're simply gonna push this down. Oh, yeah, and then light it with a lighter. All right. Now, of course, I can't do things with one hand. I apologize for that. But the LP line for it is back here. It comes down, and you can hook to the propane. Oh my gosh, it's way up. It's under there. But it's tucked way up in there. Okay. The tool that I was talking about in your pass-through storage, the longer one, I said it's for your spare tire. If it's in that hole right there, and your spare tire's down there. So if you needed to get that, that's how you would do it. Yeah, get that tool and wind it down. All right, and then your stabilizers. You have 2 on the back here, so 1 here and 1 on the other side, obviously. The other tool that you have up front is going to wind these down. When these come down, once they hit the ground, do another quarter turn to snug it up, and then that's it. We are not trying to level the camper with the stabilizers. They are not strong enough to do that. They'll bend. It doesn't really matter what kind of stabilizers you have. They're going to bend if you're trying to level the camper with the traditional crank down kind. Get it down on the ground. I would put a board or something underneath that just to keep it from sinking. But if you're on concrete, you probably don't need to do it as much. But you are going to need to check it every once in a while to be sure it didn't creep up a little bit. So just check it. Do another quarter turn if you need to. You're going to level this from side to side with the tires, front to back with your landing gear up front, which I'm going to show you where that landing button is for to raise and lower the front of this. This here is the vent for your stove. So whenever you're cooking inside, make sure that's open and you have the fan on, the exhaust, just to get that steam out of there. Any moisture inside of a camper is a bad thing, even if it's just steam. Okay, so there's your steps. One folds over the other and then tucks up in there pretty nicely. We don't have too many issues with these coming out during travel. I have seen a lot of people use bungee cords to keep them in place. But again, I think that for you, it's probably not going to matter too much just because this is going on a permanent site. The handle here, you can pull it up and over or up and over the other way. But that's your grab handle. And then you've got a screen door here. So if you have a nice day, you want just some fresh air, you can close that. There it goes. This is the other side of your storage. Now, your storage doors are all being held up by a magnet right there, which is nice instead of the clips. So there's that. And then this is your other propane bottle. So, and both of your propane bottles are full. So you should be good for a while. Your furnace is what will use the most amount of propane. All right, so just keep that in mind. Your landing gear, of course, is electric, but right here is the button for it. So That's going to bring it down. This is going to bring it back up. And this switch right here is a light switch for the light up front here. All right? Okay, let's go inside. Okay. All right, here we go. Now, that looks weird because of the shadows, but the window. Okay, so when you come in, the first thing we're going to come to is the wall here. You have a light switch here that does the lights just above your couch. This is your thermostat. It's very easy to use. So let me shut the door since I got the heat running. Okay. All right. So here, the bottom right here, you just keep pushing that until it goes to where you want it to go. Right now I've got on heat. If I push it again, it's off. So when you get the camper, it's going to be dark like this. So you're going to come in, you're going to wake it up, and then start pushing that until it goes to where you want it to go. Fan, high and low, cool, high, low, low auto, and high auto. We like the high auto setting because it'll come on and off as needed to whatever temperature you set it to. And then the high fan, because it'll push that air away from the AC unit fast enough that the intake doesn't suck the air back in and freeze up your compressor. And then the next setting is heat. There's that. So this, I did not test this. Let's find out if this is working. This is your max air fan. And there it is. We love this fan so much around here, man. If you come into your camper and your AC isn't on and it's really hot, if you want to cool this place down fast, turn this on. It'll really get the hot air out of here. But okay, so that's a vent open, vent close, fan off, and then that's it. Up here is your monitor panel. All right, so, I wish I had, okay, I don't know if you can read that or not. Here, hold on, let me see. There we go, I think that's better. All right, so here, you're gonna see how charged your battery is. And then you've got your fresh tank is empty, your black tank is empty, your gray 1 goes with the bathroom, so that's your sink and shower in the bathroom, and then gray 2 is your kitchen. So it's going to give you how full your tanks are. Again, like I said, outside, 2/3 seems to be a really good place to dump your tanks. All right, and then you have a light here for your water pump, and a DSI fault. That would be when your propane goes to fire up your water heater, that's going to come on. It just for a second, it shouldn't stay on. You have your ceiling light, step light. There's the water pump. Turn that on. And then your water heater. You have your water heater gas, your water heater electric. So the gas, electric. So when you get your camper, you've got water to the system. You know you have water in your water heater. You can turn on the electric or the gas or both. So if you use both electric and gas, you're going to recover about 16 gallons an hour. So if you have back-to-back showers, you want to do something like that where you need that water to recover fast, turn them both on. Otherwise, just use Campgrounds electric. You have your awning light, awning light and porch light, and then your slide in and out. All right, so there's all of that. The awning extend and retract when I'm done today. I will pull this awning out so you can see it, but it's really windy today, so I'm not going to pull it out all the way. I'm just going to pull it out far enough for you to see that it works. All right, so they did take the inside of this is so nice. I love it. So here we have your couch that folds out to a bed. It tri-folds all the way out. An adult can sleep on that. And then you have your U-shaped dinette. That tabletop simply comes off of the poles, goes down, and the cushions fill it in to make a bed. All right, so I've got stuff turned up too loud. I'm so sorry. Here we go. That's better. The lights here you have a switch that you can turn these lights on and off with. You have your refrigerator that is propane or electric. It won't do both. It will do one or the other. Right now we're plugged in, so it's going to automatically go over onto electric when you have this on auto. Okay, so it's hard to see with the lights there, but if I turn the auto off, it goes over to gas. And you'll hear the back of your refrigerator click, and that is the propane firing up to keep your refrigerator cold. I don't know the science behind it. I just know that that's what it does. So if you ever walk past your camper and you keep hearing a ticking sound coming from behind your refrigerator, that's what's happening. It's trying to fire up because you don't have electric, and it's trying to light itself. So you would just need to come back in here and maybe just turn it off, and make sure that where you're plugged in at is working if you're plugged in. So I had that happen on mine, and it turned out the plug I was plugged into was no good, and my refrigerator was continuously trying to fire up on propane. All right, so then here you can change how cold your refrigerator gets. It does take about 8 to 10 hours on electric for this to cool down. The freezer will always get cold first, and then the refrigerator has to catch up to it. So when you get this, once you turn it on, give it some time, give it a day to get cooled down. Now, if you need it to do it faster than that, you can put it over on the gas setting, and it takes about half of the amount of time to cool down on gas. So just keep in mind, again, the freezer's going to get cold first. We get calls all the time that the freezer's nice and cold, but the refrigerator is not. But given some time, it will get cold. All right, I don't want you to think it's broke. It's not. I had my hand in there earlier, and it's nice and cold, so it's working. You just have a desk area here, which I thought was such a good idea. I love a little desk area. Your sink, your keys are on here, and I'm going to make sure that those work for you. And I'll let you know where I put the keys. And then you've got more counter. You have your stove top here and your oven. So this is just a cover. Please don't cook on this, all right? So before you cook, you're going to put this back. Now you can do it. So with this one, you have a button here that lights those up in blue. And let's see, this one, oh, here we go. I wonder if I have to hold it in. I hope not. We're going to try to light one up. If we can get one to light up, the rest of them will follow. I know there's air in there. We go. Now these should light up. Oh, get more like that. There we go. I didn't have it over far enough. There we go. Okay. Yay, I'm glad that it worked for us. All right, so there's that. Okay. Keep in mind, propane runs very, very hot. So I only mention that because of the oven. The ovens have a tendency to burn things. Keep that in mind, please. Because I'm doing the video by myself and I have to hold my phone to do it, I can't exactly show you that the oven works. But how you're going to fire the oven up is way to the back there. There is a pilot light that's going to light. And the way to get it to light is you're going to push this in and hold it. The picture of the flame to the arrow there. You're going to hold that in, and while you're holding that in, you're going to click with this. And you'll see a spark down there trying to spark it to light it. The oven always takes longer to light. Just keep clicking though. Don't give up on it just because a lot of people think that their oven is broke because they can't get it to fire up and they'll use a lighter. You don't need to do that. Just keep clicking. And I mean, some of them don't take long at all. Others take a very long time. Like, you're going to feel like, oh my God, this thing, I've been doing this for a minute straight and it's still not firing up. There might be a problem there, but it's usually just a lot of air, and the line going to the oven for propane is very, very small. So it's a very low flow of propane going to it. The one thing that people complain about the most with these ovens are the fact that they do burn things, because you have to get used to cooking with propane. Again, it does run hot, so reduce your temperature, keep an eye on it until you can figure out exactly how this cooks. Okay? All right. Your microwave's a microwave. There's really nothing special going on with that. You have more counter space here with lots of drawers. You have a lot of drawers in here. The TV is working off of the antenna right now. So any stations we'd be getting is because there's an antenna boost button that's picking up the signals for the antenna. If I'm not mistaken, it should be back here. Yeah, it is. All right, hold on. All right, so right here, that red light that's on is the boost. So the red button on the other side is how you turn that off and on. If you're paying for part cable, anything other than watching the satellite, make sure that's off. You will only ever get antenna stations if that booster is on. So please keep that in mind. That's the number one call they get in the office at a campground is, hey, I'm not getting the stations I'm paying for, what's going on? And they're going to tell you, turn the antenna boost off. So that's where it's at, all right? And I will be putting your remotes here in your drawer. So when you get it, that's where those are going to be. The second little remote here is for your stereo. So here you have zones 1 and 2. And I had this up earlier, a little too loud. Okay, so zone 1 is inside. Zone 2 is outside. All right, so if you just want to listen to music outside, you can do that. If you just want it inside, you can do that, or you can turn them both on and listen to music inside and outside. Okay, here we go upstairs. We're almost done. Got a shower, of course, stand-up shower. And there's the potty. Oh, look, I installed a toilet paper holder. All right, so this is a foot flush. So with this, you're gonna halfway down, puts water in it, all the way flushes. So they're always gonna tell you to use RV toilet paper. If it says septic safe, you can use it. So Scott's is a big one for people, just because RV toilet paper can get expensive. So just get some Scott's, as long as it's single ply. That's the number one thing you have to make sure of. You are going to need toilet treatment. The toilet treatment, you're just going to drop some down the toilet here into the black tank with about 1 gallon of water. If you fill the bowl up twice, that halfway down puts water in the bowl, do that twice, fill it up. That's about 1 gallon, and that's about how much water the treatment needs to activate. It's going to break everything down and help deodorize that black tank. Just remember though, every time you dump your black tank, you're dumping your toilet treatment. Okay, so every time you dump your black tank, you're gonna have to come back in here and throw another treatment in. If you switch off to a different brand of treatment, make sure you use that black tank flush really well first to rinse out the black tank, only because if you switch to a different brand, the enzymes from the old treatment will fight with the enzymes from the new treatment. So it won't be doing your tank any good. So just rinse it out as best you can, of course, and then switch to your brand. All right, over here, you have a sink, and your GFI outlet is right there. All of your outlets are connected to it. So if things that are plugged in stop working, check here first and make sure that didn't trip. Just reset it just like you would at home. All right, and then this switch here is just the light for in here. And then you've got your medicine cabinet, both sides, of course, open. And then you got another one over here above the toilet, which is so nice. You got your fan up there. All right, your bedroom. So you have lights on either side, and underneath the light is the switch. It just is a push button switch underneath there to turn those on and off. Your bed's got storage underneath. It's a pretty good size. All right. And then you've got your dresser and closet there. drawers. It's so nice. You've got, I know I said this already, but you've got a lot of drawers in this whole camper, so it's pretty nice. There you would be able to put a TV. There is a backer on the other side of the wall there, so you could hang a TV mount there, and you have your cable, satellite, or even the antenna back here if you wanted it. All right, I think that's it. I hope I hit everything. Actually, oh, please make sure for travel purposes that this is snapped back in place. It's a sliding door, and it will come off those tracks and cause a lot of damage if it's not snapped in place, so it can't go anywhere. All right, I think the last thing I want to go over is your LP and CO2 detector. That's that black box on the bottom here. So this is going to detect if you have a gas leak or CO2 coming in. So usually your furnace is what would cause any like CO2 coming in. But if that thing starts going off, number one, you'll know what's going off. It's loud. If it starts going off, always take it seriously, okay? So you should open your door, turn off your propane, and verify that you don't actually have a leak. But also stop and think about what someone just did. There's a lot of things that will set off this alarm. Any aerosol spray in the air will set it off. So if you spray hairspray, Febreze, Lysol, anything like that, it's going to set it off. Dog food will set it off. Not that you would feed a dog right here, but that's how sensitive they can be. So if it goes off and it's because of something someone's done, you can reset it right down there. Just push and hold and it will reset it. If you truly do have a leak of some kind, it will go off again. So it's not going to be like, well, okay, they didn't care, so we're not going to beep again. No, it'll beep. One of the things that this will also do is if you're unplugged and your battery starts to die, the LP detector is going to beep like once every 5 or 10 seconds. It's not going to stop doing that. It's letting you know, hey, the battery's dying here, and it's trying to alert you to that, I guess. Not really. That's just that's just one of the reasons it would be going off, is because you don't have power and your battery is dying. Okay. All right. I think that's it. I'm sorry if the video was boring, but I try to give as much information as possible. So for people who are camping for the first time, have a little bit of knowledge. The AC unit here, you can open this on either side to do a quick dump of air in here, but they're really only intended to be open about 10 or 15 minutes just to cool the room down, because right here on either side, that's the intake. If those are left open for too long, the intake will suck that cold air back in and freeze up your compressor. So go ahead and open it if you want, cool the room down fast, but then close them, and it'll start going through the ductwork a lot better when they're closed. All right, I meant to say something about that earlier. But I think that's it. I think you have a good unit. I feel like you picked a good one. The Grand Designs are always pretty. And the people that had this took pretty good care of it, it looks like. So there's that. If you have any questions, you can always give me a call. And anybody else who's watching, if you have any tips or tricks, or you think I said something wrong, let me know. All right? We'll talk to you later. Bye.